Hello, my name is Jill. Welcome if this is your first time here. Welcome back if it's not. So today I wanted to do a little bit of a reading for people. If at any time you feel like this doesn't resonate or it's not speaking to you or it makes you feel some type of way that's not good, no worries, click away. Spirituality isn't for everybody. I feel that my purpose is to help people understand embodied femininity, and the reason why I called my company Saraswati Lifestyle, the reason why the word lifestyle is in there is because I want to introduce people to all of the tools that I used to help take myself from surviving to thriving. Before I started really practicing spirituality and doing things like Reiki and tarot, I was fine. I was in decent health physically. My life was like going along, but my mental health wasn't the greatest. And I really found that these spiritual tools like astrology as well and Reiki and tarot really helped me get a better hold of my mental health, because it helped me turn inward and kind of unpack things that were going on and tap into my own inner divinity and my own inner power. And I really think that Western life and modern life is very detached from spirituality, and embodied spirituality and embodiment in general is a very feminine thing, a feminine practice. And we don't do much of that because, as I'm sure you know, we live in a very masculine society. So not to say that, what I'm saying is that we need more balance, and being all the way on one extreme or the other is not helpful for anybody. So what I like to do sometimes is these little readings. So I have the cards. They are sort of like set up right here for you to see. We'll figure that part out after. And so I pulled cards and did a little bit of a reading, and then I wanted to explain to everyone like the meaning of those cards and how that relates to sort of our everyday life and our spiritual journey. So what are the cards? I made some notes here that I'm going to refer to, and like what's happening. So the sun is a masculine energy. It is warm, it is radiant, it is activating, it is illuminating. And the effect of something like illumination is that it helps kind of drive out the shadows, because, like when you think about it physically, the light, there can't be shadows and light at the same time. Shadows only exist where there is lack of light. So if there is presence of light, then there are no shadows. So that doesn't mean you just like flip on the light and like, woo, magic, the shadows went away. I wish that spiritual healing was that easy. But anyways, the presence of the sun and that healthy divine masculine energy helps us draw out shadows and things like ignorance and stagnation. So the next card was called Balance, and the energy of that card is about loyalty and devotion and transcending selfishness. So like, what can that mean? That can mean a lot of different things, like loyalty and devotion. Again, everything is like quite vague, and it's always open to interpretation. There are different moments where varying amounts of a certain quality, like loyalty and devotion, are required. Sometimes it's a beautiful thing between family members, let's say, or the way that you devote yourself to your career and your sacred work in this lifetime. But then, of course, loyalty and devotion can become things that create stagnation if they are overused in contexts where they should not be. We always need a break from everything. You can't be like 150% loyal and devoted every single moment of your life. Sometimes you need to turn inward. Sometimes you need to take care of yourself, so that's what I mean, where it's like all about balance. So this is like the concepts that we have so far, okay? We've got illumination, which helps drive out our shadows, and then we have this concept of balancing loyalty. It's not really balancing loyalty with selfishness, it's more like the balance that loyalty to ourselves can bring to situations where there is too much selfishness. Does that make sense? So it's like, anyways, it makes more sense as I put the reading together, so I'm not gonna like get stuck diving into that specific concept. So the next concept that came up was reality and listening to your inner light. So one of the things that the sun and the illumination of the sun can do for us is that it helps us turn on our own inner light. Like I know for myself, I always feel so happy and warm and sunny when I'm in the sun. I love being in the sun. Winter is really hard for me. I feel like I look so pale and ghostly right now. I really miss the sun living here in Canada through the winter. Anyways, that's a different topic. So the concept of rigidity. So having like a clear idea of your self-righteousness and your ego isn't a bad thing. It's important for us to know who we are and to assert that out in the world. You know, you don't want to be like walking around willy-nilly like, who am I? You know, because then you're kind of open to like manipulation and people stealing your loyalty and devotion. So we don't want that, but we want the righteousness and the ego to be properly placed so that the motivation goes behind our own personal light and our own personal intentions in this lifetime, and that we're not applying them to like external forceful attitudes and beliefs that have sort of been forced upon us. And something that it said was that I really liked was like resist domestication, because again, to me, like the spiritual journey is all about personal empowerment, and I really feel that like modern lifestyles and like the 9 to 5, which is like my personal example, is very much kind of like forcing us into this box of domestication, you know, because it takes up so much of our time. And like, that's fine. We live in this world and we do what we have to do. But make sure that you do it in a way that is aligned with your inner light and your motivation, and that you're not just doing things because some like external force is imposing its attitudes and beliefs on you. Make sure you know like what you believe in. And maybe that is the same thing as the person standing next to you, and maybe it's not, but it's important to tease that out. Letting go, destroying what has become corrupt and dysfunctional. So you can kind of see like the theme and the message as we move through the cards coming out. So the last one was serenity, which I really like. And it's like serenity is sort of the goal. And I loved the way it describes it, the living river of transformation and of enlightenment. So it's like work with your restlessness and work to tame your instincts that push you to make quick decisions and can kind of lead us into addictions, sort of like quick emotional fixes when it's like, I don't feel good. I want to smoke a cigarette. I want to have a drink. Like, again, no judging, and like, I'm not saying like alcohol is the bane of all evil and nobody should drink ever, but it's like, be aware, be mindful of how you use different things in your life, and are you using them to kind of distract yourself from your restlessness or to avoid it or numb it. You know, that restlessness is there for a reason, because it is telling us, it's a signal for us into where certain things need to happen, if that makes sense, where different things are needed. So you want to tame those so that you can better understand your own personal truth and correct like what is causing chaos in your relationships and in your life, because water is associated with relationships and emotions, and make sure that you are addressing, living and illuminating your personal truths. So seek out light, seek out warmth in your external world to activate your own inner light, to tap into your own truth and tune out the noise that is around us. What is the opposite of illumination and warmth? It's darkness and cold. And that kind of thing brings confusion, because if a problem is illuminated, then at least you have a fighting chance, because everything is laid out on the table and you can see it clearly and you can start to problem solve. But when things are dark and there are shadows about, then there will be confusion because you can't see everything clearly. So you want to be in the light so that you can see everything clearly. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's like we all have a shadow aspect. I'm not saying like, no darkness ever. We all have, life is all about balance, and we all have these like light and dark aspects within ourselves. It's just a matter of, again, bringing it to the light so that you can better understand it. So something like a forceful external attitude would bring confusion, because it's like, wait, why am I doing it like this? Why am I doing that? It's important to understand the reason behind the like the big things that you do in your life, because you want to make sure that they are aligned with your personal truth, because that helps us just like move towards embodying our higher self and self-actualization. That's the term I was looking for. You know, like I was saying, you know, like what's the point of this life? It's not necessarily to like engage in like mindless work every day. It is to do things in a way that brings meaning to us. And that doesn't mean the activity that you do has to be like the most meaningful thing all the time, all day, every day. It just means like be aware, be present, don't be checked out. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Clear your personal anger, like where you feel some type of way about things. That shows where you have clearing to do. That's where you need illumination. That's where you need to bring your shadows to the surface and look at them, because it's going to help you clear where there is karma in your life and bring your personal truth to the surface and align it with your relationships. And then all of a sudden you will find that the way that you relate to your world and your relationships and your work and your daily activities is informed by your light and not like a dominating external circumstance. So that's the message for today. It's always going to be some kind of theme around personal growth and enlightenment and like the relationship between the light and the dark. So again, my goal is to help you figure out how to navigate these things so that you can embody your best self, your higher self, your soul's truth. Because again, that is really what helped me get a hold of my mental health and really work with my depression and anxiety, as opposed to maybe like running from them like I was before, or numbing them with addiction and running from them, being like, but I eat well, but I did this, but I'm gonna go out for dinner with my friend and forget about it. Like again, those things are comforting and we need those activities, but like you need to engage with things too. You need to lay it all out on the table, bring it all out into the light, and comfort yourself with illumination and light and the kinds of like qualities that the sun brings, because that will help you kind of reflect your own inner light when there's that external light, you know? And again, like there are moments when you want to turn off the lights and be in the dark. I'm just saying, like, don't be that way all the time. Make sure that you know what you're working with yourself. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and have a great day. Nice to see you. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.